Bae, remember the time you were that size 4 pant or that size 2 dress? Remember when you weighed less than 135 pounds? Or do you remember when you could eat whatever you want in your 20s and no matter what, you were able to stay slim and thin? And then somewhere over time, somewhere way into your 30s, you realized that became much harder, especially once you start having kids, you got married, you have this 9 to 6 job, and you just have no time to cook for yourself anymore. And so you're constantly eating out, ordering Grubhub or Uber Eats, and you're not moving around as much anymore. And you certainly don't have the time to work out. But you finally signed up for that gym membership, or you got some at home workout equipment, or at least you know you're ready to make a change. If any one of these resonate with you, you want to stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to tell you exactly why. None of those arbitrary goals matter anymore. You fitting into a certain size dress, becoming slimmer or thinner, base, these are all goals that are not indications of your health, which is the entire purpose of being mindful about nutrition and also being mindful about movement and intentional workout. I speak about this heavily in my new ebook, Happy Weight. Forget the scale, target body fat, eat mindfully, and live at your happy weight. This content today is actually sponsored by that ebook. Go ahead and click the link down below if you are ready to hit real goals and make a real change in your health. And in today's conversation, I'm going to tell you which goal you actually should be focused on so that you can do these exact things, so that you can live at the happiest weight that you've ever been while achieving the right goals for your current body. So let's jump right into it. Let's talk about why these goals don't work. Bae, if you used to wear a certain size in a dress, in a shirt, in a pant, those were never indications of your health. In fact, I talk about this in my book that being slim and thin never meant that those things were better than where you're at right now. Those narratives and concepts have been pushed onto us by society. I mean, look at models. Historically, models have been chosen because of their figures, being this slim or thin figure that can fit into these small size clothings, and that somehow meant to us that they were better. But if you dig really deep into this concept and the way that these models been chosen, if you talk to any one of these women or even watch the documentary that has recently been released on Tyra Banks's Top Model and what those women had to go through, you'll actually learn that they had some of the unhealthiest lifestyles ever, even though they were able to appear as this slim, thin, and this desirable figure. But tell me, is any of that unhealthy lifestyle and habits truly desirable or sustainable? Quite frankly, the answer is no. I know plenty of slim women who would climb a flight of 10 stairs and would be completely out of breath, indicating that their cardiorespiratory system was not at its top-notch health. I know plenty of people who can fit into a size 0, 2, and 4 pant size, but their nutrition is absolutely horrible. And so that actually causes a whole bunch of other complications in their health. Because quite frankly, physical appearance, what we use to see people, our eyes, is not a clear indication of how they're doing in their health. And what's really important to me as a fitness coach is to make sure that you have all of the facts and also that you have the right mindset walking into your workout plan, walking into mindful nutrition, and that you're able to sustain a healthy and happy lifestyle, because who wants to live long while being unhealthy? And that is exactly what my ebook teaches. It teaches how to get into the right mindset so that you make sure that you're training accordingly, to make sure that you're eating appropriately according to your current lifestyle and to your current health. After working with countless women over time, helping them to lose weight, gain weight, build muscle mass, or increase strength, I have found that every woman actually had one goal in mind, and I'm guaranteeing that your goal is going to be the same. That one goal is to have long-term sustainable health. For a long time, another narrative that has been taught to us is that as we age, we become feeble and weak simply because of this chronological number. And that's not true. I now love to see on my social media feed these 70-year-old couples who are doing Hyrox training, or to watch 80-year-olds who can still deadlift over 100 pounds. Something that is so complex for a 20-year-old to do right now at their young age this 80-year-old is able to do simply because that's something that they've practiced long term, because they have the right nutrition, and more importantly, because they have the right mindset. So many people, our ancestors, our grandparents, were bound to wheelchairs and walkers and canes, not because they were injured and certainly not because of their age, but simply because they didn't have the information that you now have today. Age does not need to play a factor in our health if we are training accordingly, if we're eating mindfully, and if we have the right mindset that says, hey, I know that if I practice this thing, I only get better at my craft than getting worse or weaker at it. And so now when I put together training programs for my clients, not only is it tailored to their specific needs, but it's also tailored to one goal, and that is to have a sustainable plan that they can work with over time that's going to increase their longevity. Being able to squat and overhead press means you're able to pick up your children or even throw your grandchildren in the air and catch them. Being able to rotate while you lunge means that you can rotate down on the ground and pick up that piece of clothing that just dropped on the floor and put it back into your closet. Being able to reach with a slam ball overhead and then powerfully throw it down on the ground means that when that trunk door doesn't close and it needs a little extra effort, that you're able to produce power and force and still get that trunk door closed. Everything that we practice inside of the gym or at our at-home gym, we are able to put into our daily activities. It's functional, it's real. This is lined up with real life activities that we not only need to do today, but we want to be able to do for the rest of our lives. Being able to walk on a treadmill for 5 minutes at an 8 incline and maybe at a 3.0 speed means that we can do the same thing when we're climbing a hill or when we're on a trail. And that we're not completely gassed and winded by doing these things simply because we're practiced and our body has adapted to these responses. Everything that we do in the gym should translate into real life activities. If nothing else, I find that there are mostly gaps for women over 30 who are currently active in the gym or outside of the gym in some kind of way, that you might be missing a few pieces of your routine, but now you're being educated and you know that you need to strength train for function. You definitely want to keep cardio as a part of your cardiorespiratory health. And then you also want to have mobility training inside of your routine so that all of your joints stay healthy as well. That's really important to be able to do any one of the other things that I mentioned already. And here's one thing that I can guarantee you, that even if one of your deep desires is to still fit into a size 4 dress or to be 135 pounds again, or to be slimmer and thinner than you are now, that you're going to be able to achieve these goals or something close to it simply as a byproduct of putting in the effort of increasing your longevity over time, making sure that you have a high quality life and a sustainable routine that you can keep up with over time. Sometimes we're thinking that a size 4 or a size 2 pant is going to look better, and then you get there and you realize it's not. You find that your body is completely disproportionate, or you've reached that goal without having sustainable habits that you can keep over time. Like these keto diets, which I am not against ketosis at all. If you are on a keto diet and that is working out for you, great. But for the rest of us, I want to make it very clear that you do not need to implement these diets that are undesirable and unsustainable over a long period of time just to achieve these goals. If you were to put in the work knowing that this you're going to do for the rest of your life, like working out is a lifestyle, eating mindfully is a lifestyle, making sure that you have a healthy, positive mindset and you're keeping those groups of people around you is a lifestyle, I guarantee you that you can still achieve the same goal that you're reaching in ketosis if you were to just ensure that you understand that these are things that the body needs forever. As long as you're in your body, you should be taking care of that vehicle, just like your actual vehicle or car. If you don't have a car, however you commute, you have to sustain that thing, whether you ride a bike, whether you ride a skateboard, whether you ride the bus. Those mechanisms still needs to be maintained over time in order for it to continue to work long term, and our bodies are the same way. We need to fuel it properly with the proper food, and we also need to move it accordingly because the body is designed to move. This is a heavy emphasis that I'm making my ebook Happy Weight, which I am suggesting if you want more tips that's going to help align your goals right now and your routine of how to get there, that you go ahead and purchase your copy using the link down below. And with that information, I hope that you can look at your current goals right now and make sure that they're aligned with something that you can do long term that's going to increase your longevity and help you to live at the most optimal lifestyle. So with that, my friends, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.